Chapter 904, Birthday Feast 6. I understand. And Chui bit hard on her bottom lip. I will do as Lady Qingyan said. At this moment, and Chui was blinded by her inner desires. She obviously did not think it through. Even if she entered the Mu family using this method, she would never be able to approach the godlike man in her life. Perhaps Cuy's purpose was not Nancian. She might just want to live a good life. She would do whatever it took in order to join the Mu family. Chun Qingyan's smile slowly faded after Cuy's departure. She tightened her grip around the glass in her hand. Her eyes were dark and terrifying. It's normal for a man to have 3 to 4 wives in this world. When Brother Ling wanted to take me as his concubine, Sui had done so many things that hurt us. Hence, I will let your son become the kind of person that you hate the most this time. She had met Brother Ling long before Sui did. Why did Sui step in and steal the person she liked away from her? During the birthday feast, if Nancian accepted and Chui obediently, then she would just forget it. If he dared to refuse, she would taint his reputation and make the world cast him aside. Chen Qingyan ordered her servants to leave her and Chui alone before Chui was brought in to meet her in the empty and quiet courtyard. She took a sip of tea and sneered. Tan Shuang, come out now. Tan Shuang was very unhappy. She came out from behind the tree. Her pregnant stomach that was already showing a lot was like a needle that stung Chan Qingyan's heart. Chun Qingyan. Tan Shuang was angry. Why was Chen Qingyan the only person that Mu Ling cared for so tenderly? But she would be punished whenever she made a mistake. However, when she thought of the conversation between Chun Qingyan and Chui just now, she blinked a few times. Young Master Nancian? Why did this name sound like the state preceptor's name? It might have been a coincidence. How could the Mu family's young master become a state preceptor in Lu Yun Kingdom? Did you eavesdrop on our conversation just now? Chen Qingyan tried hard not to look at Tan Shuang's belly. Me for extra chapters. That growing belly seemed to remind her time and time again that this woman had once slept with her husband. Tan Shuang snorted. I will tell Mu Ling. Chun Qingyan sneered. Do you think he will believe in what you say? In this world, Mu Ling only believes in me, whether you believe it or not. If you dare to say more than you should, I will not let you have your child be born. Her eyes were filled murderous intent. Tan Shuang was a little flustered. She gritted her teeth, suppressing fear. She then turned toward the backyard. Wait until Chen Qingyan gives birth to a son for Mu Ling. By then, she would make her suffer as she had done to her. Tan Shuang's figure went farther and farther until it disappeared under the sunset. Chun Qingyan could not control her feelings anymore. She grabbed her chest tightly as tears flowed down her face. Tan Shuang's presence was like a thorn in her flesh, hurting her. Even breathing was a little difficult. So, you can also feel the pain. A cold and calm voice that was filled with irony and contempt spoke from behind her. Chun Qingyan wiped her tears off and sat on the bench looking pale and weak. When you were with my brother, my sister-in-law felt the pain just as you have, Mu Qingyan said, expressionlessly. A wife usually can't accept her husband sleeping with another woman. You yourself hate Tan Shuang this much. Why makes you think that my sister-in-law must accept your existence? Chapter 905, Birthday Feast 7. Chun Qingyan bit her bottom lip. I don't hate Tan Shuang. Second brother, I don't understand why are you always attacking me? Because you have driven my sister-in-law away. Mu Qingyan said only that before he left. Chen Qingyan smashed the glass in her hand fiercely. Her face was somber and distorted. It was Nan Sui again. That was the case with the old man, as well as second brother. Why were these two people protecting her so much? Did they ever wonder why the whole Mu family disliked Nansui? If Nansui was good enough, it would not have been like this. These two people were blinded. They still wanted to protect a jealous woman, although they were Brother Ling's relatives. Chun Qingyan's tear-stained face grew colder and more terrifying. She would let Mu Qingyan understand that she was more suitable to be the Mu family's daughter-in-law than Nansui. One day, at the birthday feast, there were many people in the Mu family's courtyard. Even the relatives of the Mu family who rarely showed up came out to entertain the guests. Elder Mu Xing, Will Lady Suyi come back to attend the old master's birthday feast this year? Mu Xing said with a fake smile. I'm not very sure about that. She has not returned since she left. She did not even visit the old master knowing that he is very sick. This time, I think she might hear the rumors saying that Huaner would be returning with Grandmaster Hyrong. That is why she might be willing to return. Unfortunately, Grandmaster Hyrong has already left a few days ago. This young lady of the Mu family has really misbehaved. It is normal for the excellent young Master Mu to have concubines. All the childish acts are too overdramatic. The old master has treated her so well before. She has not even returned to visit him once. She is really a white-eyed wolf. Me for extra chapters. Isn't that so? Another elder sneered. Nansui has always been bullying Qingyan back then. Luckily, Qingyan has a good temperament and a good personality. She did not care much about it. It is impossible for another woman to have such a good temper like Qingyan's. These elders were the old master's brothers and cousins. They had the right to speak in the Mu family. So, people would always believe in their words. Everyone felt sorry for Chen Qingyan. Although Suyi was Mu Ling's wife, her status was higher than Qingyan since Qingyan was just a concubine. However, Suyi, as a woman, should not be arrogant, and she had no right in stopping Mu Ling from having other wives. Everyone was dismissive toward her behavior. She was just an orphan. I wonder where she had gotten the courage to behave like this and has even taken away the flesh and blood of the Mu family. Nanxian. Nanxian is the young master of the Mu family. His surname should be Mu. She has not only taken him away but has also changed his surname. When Suyi and Mu Ling were still in good terms, Nanxian's name was actually Mu Nanxian. However, before leaving the Mu family, Suyi had left a note saying that from that day onward, Mu Nanxian no longer existed in this world. Since then, Nanxian was only known as Nanxian. Such behavior from a woman was not allowed in this world where the wives must obey the husbands. Therefore, Suyi had to bear a lot of notoriety. Mu Xing slightly smiled. Chapter 906, Birthday Feast VII. Later, Mu Xing learned that Suyi had used the spirit herbs to help the newly recruited so-called geniuses. In the Mu family, all the servants and maids had served the Mu family all their lives. They would never recruit people from the outside. After all, to the Mu family, talent was not too important. Even if one's strength was poor, they could use the spirit herbs to boost it. Nonetheless, Suyi had recruited some people from the outside when she was in charge of the Mu family. She preferred to give the spirit herbs to outsiders rather than giving them to Mu Xing's grandson. Everyone in the Mu family would receive some spirit herbs each month. However, Mu Xing's grandson's talent was too weak. What effects could the few normal spirit herbs have? If it were not for Suyi, his grandson would have achieved something in those years. Qingyan was a different person. Those geniuses that Suyi had recruited were driven away by Qingyan after Suyi had left. She had used all the resources on the people of the Mu family. The many spirit herbs had finally allowed his grandson to achieve spirit warrior tier. Thus, he was very grateful to Qingyan. All the people gathered at the banquet hall. It was very rare for the old master to not lose his temper and smile. Although his smile looked a little silly, it still made Mu Ling feel relieved. Fortunately, the old master still knew how to behave on certain occasions even when he was sick. If he bullied Qingyan on such an occasion, the entire Mu family would be embarrassed. His father would not do such a thing. Butler, do you think I look handsome today? The old master smiled and asked. The butler smiled bitterly. You always look handsome. Oh, then can I have the turkey soup that Suyi has cooked today? The old master anticipated. Even Mu Ling, who had always made him displeased, was pleasing to his eyes today. Maybe it was because his mood was better today. But his old face could not help but sink a little after seeing Chen Qingyan standing next to Mu Ling. He stared at her angrily. Master, today is your birthday. Lady Suyi will return this year too. The butler reminded. If you embarrass Chen Qingyan in public, the Mu family would also be embarrassed. Think about it. If Nanxian takes over the Mu family, old Master Mu was like an old child when he was sick. Children were the easiest to coax. Old Master Mu held back his anger and snorted after listening to the butler's words. I will let her off today. me for extra chapters. It was so frustrating that he could not hit the bad woman. The old master turned his anger toward his appetite. He then kept stuffing desserts into his mouth. The butler quickly snatched the desserts from the old master. Master, you have to take care of your image. Lady Suyi and young Master Nancian will be returning soon. You must take care of your image. Fortunately, all the guests present were busy talking. Hence, not so many people had seen the old master's behavior. Suddenly, silence fell. Everyone's eyes turned toward the door in astonishment. There was a beautiful woman standing next to Qin Li and Wan Yu. The woman was as beautiful as she sure, one of the renowned beauties in the world. She had an elegant smile on her face. Her face was slightly pale due to her poor health. Is this the young lady of the Qin family? Well, she has grown into a beautiful woman. Chapter 907, Birthday Feast 9. The person who is able to marry a beautiful lady like Qin Fei is blessed. It is not an exaggeration to say that she is the prettiest in the world. Tianshan Manor was extremely huge. Tianshan City was the most prosperous place in the mainland. Other than that, there were other towns too. Many of the guests present there came from afar. On Gu Yi's birthday, only the forces from Tianshan City were invited. Other forces were not qualified to participate. Thus, not many people had seen Qin Fei's current appearance. Qin Fei was indeed the #1 beauty in Tianshan Manor before Gu Yi had lost weight. Her beauty made others feel like protecting her. But these words were embarrassing for Qin Fei today. She clenched her fists so hard that she barely smiled. Fei, Chun Qingyan stepped forward and held Qin Fei's hand kindly. She smiled. It's really hard for you to come and participate in the birthday feast since your body is weak. Qin Fei smiled and reciprocated Chun Qingyan's action. Aunt Yin, how can I not attend the old master's birthday just because of that? You are really a good child. Chun Qingyan laughed lightly. It's a blessing for the person who marries you. Everyone was quietly making guesses in their hearts, looking at their intimate behavior. Is young Lady Qin entering the Mu family? Lady Qingyan is so kind to her. Maybe young Master Mu Shi is marrying her? Young Master Mu Shi? It is unlikely to be him since he is so cruel to women. How could a fragile lady like Qin Fei bear his torment? I think it should be young Master Nancian. Lady Qingyan had always regarded Nancian as her son. It is normal for her to be intimate with Qin Fei for Nancian's sake. Yes, it must be young Master Nancian. No one would reject a fragile beauty like Qin Fei. Nancian is a perfect match for her. A burst of ironic laughter was heard among the guests. Who is that Lady Qingyan? She is just a concubine. The crowd became silent, instantly. The wives present were disdainful of Chun Qingyan when they saw their husbands supporting Chun Qingyan. No wife would like her husband to take a concubine, unless the concubine was the wife. Me for extra chapters. Of course, a concubine who had become the principal wife would also not want her husband to take other concubines. How could a wife stand her husband sleeping with another woman? They just did not have the courage to stand up against their husbands. They did not have the same determination as Suyi. Hence, they could only hide their tears quietly. No matter how the concubine was loved, she was still a concubine. There was no concubine who dared to address herself as the main lady except Chun Qingyan. Chun Qingyan's face turned pale. She turned to look at the lady standing among the guests. Those who could speak in the Mu family must be of high status. This lady was the daughter-in-law of Grandmaster Qian Kuan. Grandmaster Qian Kuan had no children, but he had a godson. Although his godson was not often in Tianshan Manor, he came to participate in the birthday feast since he was around this time. Great job, that is well said. The old master stood on the chair laughing and applauding. That's right. I have only one daughter-in-law, which is Suyi. Who is this bad woman? She will have to go when Suyi is back. Ha ha ha. At this moment, everyone looked the old master with sympathetically. They did not know what had made the old master's health even worse recently. He was getting more and more confused. Qingyan had borne children for Mu Ling. Yet, he still wanted to drive her away. Chapter 908. Birthday feast X. How could the old master be so ruthless? It's nothing. Seeing that Mu Ling was about to lose his temper, Chun Qingyan held onto his arm as she shook her head and smiled wryly. Brother Ling, don't worry about me. Today is the old master's birthday. Don't lose your temper because of me. I am nobody. You don't have to defend me. Clenching his fists tightly, Mu Ling was getting angrier. His cold gaze was fixed upon the lady who was speaking just now. Initially, everyone was staring at Chun Qingyan. Now, everyone looked at the door. Who is this young lady? Why have I never met her before? Why is she here in the chief manor? The manor master has gotten another wife? Previously, Qin Feier was the most beautiful lady in Tianshan Manor. Now, she is no match for this young lady at all. She is so stunning. I like her. At the door of the banquet hall, Gu Yi walked in after Gu Shi with a smile full of subtle charm. When Gu Shi heard the chatter, his eyes lit up, his gaze swept across the crowd. When he saw the face of the young master who was speaking just now, the light in his eyes faded instantly. You have such a hideous countenance. How dare you peep at my daughter? You aimed for something out of your league. You are seeking your own demise, aren't you? She is Gui. The person standing next to the young master nudged him, lightly. Who else could stand next to Gu Shi other than Gui? Although the young master was not allowed to attend the feast in the chief manor, he heard that Gui had lost weight. Hearing this, the young master's face changed. A look of shock and disbelief crept into his eyes. Gui, the 250-pound lady, had actually turned into such a stunning beauty? Perhaps, many of the people had never thought that the gorgeous young lady was Gui. The whole place sank into silence. Gu Shi paid no heed to the people around him and walked toward the old master of the Mu family. Old master, initially, I did not intend to come to the Mu family. However, no matter what the people of the Mu family have done to me, I respect you. Bring the gift to the old master. At your command. The guard of the chief manor handed over a box of spirit herb, respectfully. Me for extra chapters. The butler who stood next to the old master received the box on his behalf. This spirit herb could enhance your health and prolong your life. May you live 1,000 years. Gu Shi smiled faintly. If one wished a cultivator to live 100 years, he was, no doubt, cursing him. A cultivator could live more than 100 years if he was healthy. The more powerful a cultivator was, the longer he could live. Only an ordinary human, who was not capable of cultivating, would wish someone to live 100 years. Thank you, Manor Master. This old butler would like to express my gratitude and appreciation to you on behalf of the old master. A mixed feeling crept into the butler's heart. The old master's strength had greatly declined. This spirit herb was indeed a great gift to the old master. The butler could not help wondering if Grandmaster Hairong told Grandmaster Qian Kuan about the old master's health condition. Otherwise, why would Gu Shi give this spirit herb to the old master? Chun Qingyan's hands balled into fists. The old master had truly lost his senses because of his poor health. Usually, the old master would get Mu Ling to accept the gift on his behalf. Gu Shi had actually given the gift personally to the old master. Lady Qingyan, we are giving a grade 6 spirit herb to the old master as a gift. As the old master is not feeling well, young Master Mu, please accept the gift on the old master's behalf. Please simmer this spirit herb for the old master. When you smiled. Chapter 909. I agree to this marriage. Although Mu Ling was annoyed, he simply could not do anything to Gu Shi as he was the manor master. Thank you, Lady Qin. Hearing Wen Yes words, Mu Ling's face shifted as he smiled faintly. You're welcome. That's what I should do in view of the relationship between the Mu family and the Qin family. In other words, Wen Yu was actually telling everyone present that the Qin family and the Mu family were connected by marriage. Gu Shi's cold gaze swept past Wen Yu as he quickly turned away. He pulled Gu Yi's arm and drew her back to the seat. I thought young Lady Mu and Nan Xian would be back by now. Why are they not here yet? Young Lady Mu is such an ungrateful wretch. The old master had treated her so well, but she has taken his kindness for granted. She has never returned to the Mu family for years for his birthday. Currently, The banquet hall was abuzz with chatters. Since Suyi is back in Tianshan Manor, why is she not here yet? Mu Ling frowned. His stunning face took on a ghastly expression. Was Suyi avoiding the old master's birthday in order to make Mu Ling mad? Father. Gui sat down. She scanned everyone present, but Feng Ruqing was nowhere to be found. Suddenly, a familiar figure appeared. How did Enchui get in here? Enchui should not have come to this feast. What concerned Gu Yi most was that Enchui had actually walked in after Qin Qingyan, as if she was Chen Qingyan's servant. Gu Shi frowned. His gaze swept past the crowd and fell upon Enciu's beautiful face. I don't know what Enchui is after. However, she can never make it. Hearing this, Gu Yi felt immensely relieved. She could never forget the way Enchui had begged her and wanted Gu Yi to help her to become Nan Xian's concubine. Gu Yi was not a fool. Naturally, she would never help someone who could upset Feng Ruqing. Manor Master, there must be some misunderstandings between the Mu family and the chief manor back then. As we were unable to meet you, we did not manage to clear out the misunderstanding between us. It's time we clear the air now, shall we? I really like young Lady Gu. That's why I have proposed an arranged marriage between Nan Xian and her. It would have been fine if Mu Ling did not mention the arranged marriage. Hearing this, Gu Shi's face darkened. Young Master Mu, my daughter has yet to step into the Mu family, but you have arranged so many concubines for Nan Xian. Do you want to bully my daughter to death? Me for extra chapters. Oh, the rest of the clans must have been mistaken about this. I was arranging concubines for Mu Shi, not Mu Nan Xian, Mu Ling replied, ambiguously. Since the rest of the clans had called off the marriage, Mu Ling could just deny the things that Gu Shi had said. As long as Gu Shi agreed to let Gu Yi marry Nan Xian, Mu Ling would not arrange any other concubines for Nan Xian like what he had done previously. He would only get Nan Xian to take Qin Feier as his concubine when Gu Yi was pregnant. Gu Shi sneered. Gu Shi had never given the people of the Mu family a thought. Previously, he had accepted the arranged marriage because of Nan Xian. Perhaps, the Qin family was of the same opinion. With the Qin family's power, they would never let Qin Feier be someone else's concubine. However, since they had accepted the marriage, it must be because of Nan Xian. Nan Xian was indeed a rare talent and was unrivaled in Tianshan Manor. Sooner or later, he would dominate the world. Hence, the Qin family did not reject the arranged marriage, even if Qin Feier would only be Nan Xian's concubine. However, things would go completely different if the groom was Mu Shi. The Qin family would never have accepted the arranged marriage. Let's not talk about those who have called off the marriage. What about young Lady Qin? Don't tell me that young Lady Qin has agreed to be Mu Zai's concubine. Gu Shi broke into a smile. As soon as Gu Shi finished speaking, the faces of the people of the Qin family changed. Chapter 9:10. I agree to this marriage too. Qin Feier's face was pale and her body was shaking. She held on to Wenye's hand tightly. Being Mu Zai's concubine? How many women had died in Mu Zai's hands? She would never want to be Mu Zai's wife, let alone being his concubine. After Mu Shi heard those words, he glanced vaguely at Qin Feier's face. He then subconsciously licked the corner of his lips. Qin Feier was not as pretty as Feng Ruqing in terms of beauty. However, Feng Ruqing was too tough. If it was Qin Feier who was weak and gentle, he might have gotten what he wanted, easily. Chen Qingyan walked slowly toward Mu Ling and patted his hand. She smiled softly. Manor Master Gu must be joking. We, the Mu family, do not have the right to decide young Lady Qin's marriage. I just like young Lady Qin and want to be closer to her. Manor Master Gu, please don't misunderstand. Brother Ling really wants Gu Yi to be married to Nan Xian. Smash! Gu Yi slammed on the table. She got up instantly. I won't marry the vixen, Nan Xian. You better stop dreaming about it. Vixen? Mu Ling's heart fluttered. The title, Vixen, seemed so familiar to him that made him more uneasy. Right. Under normal circumstances, the wife who was not loved would address the husband's beloved concubine as a vixen. Now Gu Yi had used these words to describe Nan Xian, which made Mu Ling feel baffled. Don't deny it. Gu Yi turned her head and sneered. I have rejected the marriage earlier because Qin Fei's maid said that Qin Fei was Nan Xian's lover. I felt deceived. How could my fiancé have another beloved? Hence, I got angry and rejected marriage. Everyone was gossiping. Was Qin Fei Nan Xian's beloved woman? Did Qin Fei's maid say that? Then, it must be true. The Mu family and the Qin family really wanted to form an alliance through marriage. However, why did Mu Ling still want Nan Xian to marry Gu Yi? Although everyone was stunned, Qin Fei's face was terribly pale. She did not expect Gu Yi to say it in public. Mu Ling's cold eyes glanced at Qin Fei angrily after hearing about that. Me for extra chapters. So that was it. It was the Qin family's fault that Gu Yi wanted to cancel the arranged marriage. Otherwise, the Mu family would have already formed the alliance for a long time ago. Young Lady Gu, you may have had a little misunderstanding. Mu Ling hesitated for a moment and said slowly. Gu Yi smiled sarcastically. You're right, I did misunderstand. At first, I believed in Qin Fei's words. Then, I let my father cancel the arranged marriage. After that, only I knew that I have misunderstood. Mu Ling let out a sigh of relief. Nonetheless, he still did not understand why Gu Yi was so heartless even when she knew she had misunderstood. Because Gu Yi paused. Although I don't like Nan Xian now, and all the men are all bastards, Qin Fei is even worse than them. How could she become Nan Xian's beloved woman with her appearance? Gu Shi's lips trembled a few times. He felt like crying. Little devil, could you not scold me too when you were scolding Nan Xian? Your father is also a man. Mu Ling was clearly embarrassed as he felt ashamed in front of those people. Old Master Mu was also cheering on the side. Well done. You have scolded them rightly. All men are bastards and liars. Ha ha ha. Little girl, you are great. Are you married yet? What about my son, Qing Yin? What about letting him be your husband? Chapter 9:11. I agree to this marriage. Gu Shi's eyes lit up. Mu Qingyin was not bad, only that his health was not that good. But it did not matter. If Mu Qingyin became the Gu family's son-in-law, he would let Qin Kuan do his best to treat him, even if it meant using all the medicine. As long as he could straighten his little devil. Father. Mu Qingyin sighed helplessly. I have poor health. Don't worry too much. Just don't drag the little girl down. Besides, I'm quite old now and young Lady Gu has not even reached the age of 18. Nonsense. The old man glared at him. You're only 16. Why not? Mu Qingyin felt uncomfortable. Father, when can you remember that I'm almost 30? Oh, you're almost 30 years old. Then, you better don't let the girl be wasted. The old man pursed his lips. Mu Qingyin felt a sword piercing through his heart, sad and helpless. No, no, no. Gu Shi stood up hurriedly. He then said, respectfully, don't say that. Qingyin is only 29 years old. He is not old. He has a good personality and is also handsome. He and Gu Yi's child will be very good looking. I agree to this marriage. If Qingyin enters the chief manor, I will try my best to treat him at all costs. Even if he is not cured, I will try to extend his lifespan. That is not a big problem. The old master was like an old child. He laughed. Then, we will be in-laws. Little Qinjian's personality is really good. You don't have to worry. He is very different from his brother. I can guarantee you that little Qingyin will treat your girl very well. So that's the deal. Usually, fathers would not want their little sweetheart ones to stay away from them. But somehow, Gu Yi was not a normal little sweetheart. Gu Shi must have done something evil in his previous life that he had gotten a daughter who was eager to stay far away from him and would rather help an outsider than him. He could not scold and beat her. He could only let her go. More importantly, his daughter's sexual orientation was distorted. He had to straighten out his daughter so he could face his dead wife. Mu Qingyin was Nan Xian's second uncle. Nan Xian heard that Nan Suyi and Mu Qingyin had a great relationship when she was still in the Mu family. So, if he was no longer in this world one day, there would be someone who could protect this little devil. Okay, the old master immediately agreed. After they are married, he'll let little Qingyin go to the chief manor. I don't have the money to buy him a yard. There are too many bad people in the Mu family. Other than that, I can't let the little girl be wronged. It doesn't matter. I will pay and buy a yard for them. Just let the two of them live their own lives. Of course, the yard must be bought next to the chief manor. Me for extra chapters. He did not want to let his dear daughter smash his jade appliances. However, he could not bear to let Gui stay too far away from him. He was worried that Gui might be bullied, and no one would be able to protect her in time. Hence, staying next to the chief manor would be the best. Gui was stunned as the marriage was for her. She looked at Gushir in shock. She apparently did not expect her father to marry her off so easily. Did he ask her opinion regarding the marriage? Mu Ling's face was also dark. The fiancé he had selected for Nanxian was being taken away by his own brother. Manor Master Gu. Mu Ling turned his head and looked at Gushir. He was about to speak, but was impatiently interrupted by Gushir. What are you going to say, young Master Mu? I am letting my daughter marry your brother. Do you not like it? Do you want your brother to be alone for his whole life? Are you still his brother? Chapter 9:12. I agree to this marriage. Mu Ling was speechless after hearing Gushir's words. He shut his mouth and his eyes were gloomy. Father. Gui stood up angrily. How can you not ask me before you marry me to Qingyin? Have you considered my feelings? Gushir, who was very confident just now, was now being timid in front of Gui. My dear girl, I'm just doing it for your sake. Little Qingyin is handsome and has a good personality. He is not the kind of person who judges people by their appearance. More importantly, you know about the issues between Shaoqing and the Mu family, right? You might be able to discuss Shaoqing with him in the future. After much deliberation, it was decided that Mu Qingyin was really not bad. Back when he ordered people to look for a husband for Gui, why did no one think of Mu Qingyin? Actually, it was normal that other people did not consider Mu Qingyin since his health was not in the best shape. He might fall dead at any given moment. The chief manor's young lady must not be a widow. Thus, Mu Qingyin was no longer in their considerations. Father. Today is Old Master Mu's birthday. We will discuss these matters when we return. Don't make any trouble at his birthday party, Gushir said, patiently. Although Gui was usually wayward, she still knew when to behave depending on the situation. Her eyes were full of grievances. She finally sat down angrily and did not say a single word. The voices surrounding the discussion stopped abruptly. A chilling sound could be heard. Everyone was looking around since they did not know where the sound came from. Time stood still and the sound of breathing continued. The moon was cold and the night was silent. The girl was so beautiful. She was as beautiful as a demon in a red coat and was as majestic as an empress. Standing beside her was a handsome man who looked like a fairy. The cold moonlight draped downward and covered him. To the far right of the girl was an indifferent and elegant woman whose actions were so pleasing and attractive. On her own, Luoli was also very good-looking. Unfortunately, everyone took no notice of her when she stood behind these three people. Those people could only see the three of them. Are they Lady Suyi and young Master Nanxian? The crowd could not help but gasp. When Lady Suyi took Nanxian away, Nanxian was only a few years old. Now, almost 20 years had passed. Why was she still so young? Me for extra chapters. She looked the same as she was 20 years ago. Chen Qingyin clenched her fists quietly. She was a little embarrassed. She was relatively young and beautiful among her peers. But even so, she was still at the age where there was already some wrinkles on her face despite using spirit herbs to maintain the youth of her skin. Suyi was older than her. However, everyone might think that Suyi was younger than her when they stood together. Chen Qingyin, who was always proud of her looks, could not bear it. It felt like a needle poking into her heart, and it hurt. It was also at this moment that Chen Qingyin finally realized why Mu Ling would never forget Suyi. Mu Ling might have really loved her before Suyi showed up. Nonetheless, Mu Ling only had affection, gratitude, and pity for her since he met Suyi. It was particularly so. Mu Ling had always felt that he owed her. Therefore, even if he did not care about Suyi, he must take care of her. But what she wanted was his heart. Love with gratitude would never win desperate love. Why have you come? Chapter 913. I agree to this marriage. Mu Ling turned to look at Feng Ruching in fury. This woman had made his son be rebellious and convinced Suyi to believe so deeply in her. Now, she even dared to come to the Mu family. Suyi slightly smiled. Qing'er is my daughter-in-law. Why can't she come? This sentence was like a heavy punch that had instantly awakened everyone present. They were still curious about the girl's identity. However, they did not expect the girl to be Nan Xian's lover. Some people turned to look at Gu Yi. No matter who Gu Shi had chosen as his son-in-law now, Nan Xian was once Gu Yi's fiancée. Gu Yi had even taunted Qin Feier, whom she was so familiar with. This woman would surely be taunted too. Of course, some of these people had also attended Gu Yi's birthday. Now that they knew the relationship between Feng Ruching and Nan Xian, their expressions were getting stranger. Suyi, the old master, was shocked at first and soon came back to his senses. He quickly came down from the stage and hurried to Suyi's side. They didn't lie to me. You have really come back today. If you didn't come back, I would have been bullied to death. Suyi's heart ached. The old master was really good to her. Back then, she had left without saying goodbye to him. She had not seen him for years. Manor Master, Mu Ling said coldly. Lady Suyi obviously did not acknowledge the Mu family as her own. Thus, she had left home. Why do you always follow behind her and please her? What for? Second uncle is right. Manor Master, the Mu family is not a place where people can just come and go as they please. Manor Master, Qingyan alone is enough for the Mu family. We don't need her. However, Nan Xian is the blood of the Mu family. He is not allowed to linger around outside. He must return. By the way, what is this little girl's identity? If her status is acceptable, we can let her stay and be Nan Xian's concubine. Those with low status are not qualified to enter the Mu family. Nan Suyi was an orphan who was lonely and helpless in the past. She should not be a part of the Mu family, but since Manor Master agreed to let her in, we could not say much. But still, the difference between an educated person and an uneducated one is very big. Just look at Lady Qingyan. She has managed the Mu family very well. On the contrary, Nan Suyi was like a crazy girl and always did what she wanted. Me for extra chapters. Which lady would do such things as she would? We have already given her enough respect by not asking her to be Mu Ling's concubine. How dare she not give Mu Ling face for such petty matter? These people were all the Mu family's relatives. Nonetheless, the Mu family had its own rules. All people must address the Manor Master respectfully except the Manor Master's direct blood family. Therefore, even if they were his relatives, they still had to address him as Manor Master. These people had expressed their disdain and dissatisfaction with Suyi. It seemed that Suyi's existence was a shame to the Mu family. The only useful thing she had done was giving birth to a talented child, Nan Xian. For the Mu family, Suyi, Nan Xian, and Feng Ruching did not give any form of response regardless of what these had people said. They simply listened to those criticisms, quietly. Old Master Mu had wanted to yell several times, but Suyi had stopped him by signaling him with her eyes. Those people automatically stopped after they were done speaking their minds, rendering everyone else speechless. Chapter 914. I agree to this marriage via insult after insult was hurled. They all shouted loudly, and their faces were red with resentment in their eyes. There was a chuckle in the quiet hall. The laughter was like a breeze passing by, slowly. Luoli, do you remember the names of those people? Luoli nodded. I have written them all in a small book. Great. Feng Ruching let go of Suyi's hand. She walked forward, slowly. Did you think that we are here for the birthday party? You're wrong. We're here to settle accounts with the Mu family. We must get back what the Mu family owes Suyi and Nan Xian. Gui put her hand to one side of her cheek and blinked. She looked at Feng Ruching with admiration. Xiaoqing was so cool. What could she do? She really liked Xiaoqing. She wanted to marry Xiaoqing. Gu Shi looked at Feng Ruching. He then saw his daughter's shy face and loving eyes. He was a little wary. You must remember that you are a girl. So what? Gu Shi was silent. A girl could not marry a girl. Gu Shi did not dare to say it out loud. He was afraid that Gu Yi would fight him. It's not good staring at people like this. Your saliva is about to fall off. Hurry up and wipe it off. Ever since Sui had appeared, those people who did not pay attention to Gu Yi was stunned when they heard Gu Shi's words. Then they found that Gu Yi was staring straight at Feng Ruching like an idiot in love. Only Sui, Nanxian, and Feng Ruching were at the door. Gu Yi certainly could not be staring at the two women, which meant that she still could not forget Nanxian. Those who had not participated in Gu Yi's birthday looked at Feng Ruching sympathetically. The man whom Gu Yi liked would never be snatched away by someone else. Gu Shi was so protective of his daughter. He would never let this happen. It seemed that this girl must have offended the chief manor. Maiden. Mu Ying's face darkened a little. You're too presumptuous. Settling accounts? Haha. Were they any issues that need to be settled between the Mu family and Suyi? Even if there were issues, it should be between Suyi and Qingyan. She owed Qingyan too much that she might not be able to pay everything back in this lifetime. Grandfather. The young man standing on the sidelines glanced at Feng Ruching and smiled. Don't reason too much with this girl. Just throw her out. How could a wild girl of unknown origin enter the Mu family with her appearance? Me for extra chapters. Ridiculous. Bang. Just as the young man wanted to step forward, Feng Ruching threw him out. He was flung through the air before he hit the banquet table. No one saw what Feng Ruching had done. Mu Ying's face sank. No one had expected that this girl would really cause a commotion at the Mu family. He was about to get angry. The old master's laughter sounded again in this quiet banquet hall. Great fight, haha. You fight so well. Just kill all those shitty grandchildren. Ha ha ha. Little girl, just continue fighting. I will cheer for you. Ahem. The old master was not in the right state of mind and did not understand anything. Gu Shi had to stand up and say something since he was Tian Shan Manor's manor master. He cleared his throat. Maiden Xiaoqing, today is the old master's birthday. Can you resolve the problems after the birthday party? Just give me some face. What about allowing the people of the Mu family to apologize to you? Mu Ying's face was dark. His grandchild was beaten. How could Gu Shi still ask him to apologize? Chapter 9:15. I agree to this marriage VII. The manor master was indeed unfair. Gu Shi was still smiling. The Mu family apologized to her quickly. Do you really want to ruin the old master's birthday party? I wonder what kind of motives you have given that you're intentionally ruining the birthday party. The people from the Mu family were speechless. Why did you think that we're the ones ruining the party? It's clearly the fault of that woman who attacked first. Gu Shi realized that they were unhappy with what he said. He turned around without acknowledging them. He looked straight at Feng Ruching. Young lady Xiaoqing, what do you think? Fine. Feng Ruching did not mean to ruin the birthday party. She had come to warn them for Suyi's sake. She could always seek revenge from them after jotting down their names. Gu Shi breathed a sigh of relief. He glanced at the people from the Mu family. Quickly apologized to her. Mu Ying's facial expression darkened. He clenched his fists tightly. He felt that everyone was staring at him. He took a deep breath and advanced toward Feng Ruching. I'm sorry. We were over the line just now. I'm truly sorry. Beat him. Beat him. The old master laughed out loud. Young girl, go ahead and beat him up. I support you. The guests shook their heads and sighed. The old master of the Mu family had indeed gone mad. How could he ask an outsider to beat up his brother? Was it not embarrassing for the Mu family? Father. Mu Ling's face darkened. He stared at Feng Ruching coldly. The Mu family would not have been humiliated in such a way if Feng Ruching had not appeared. How could she get into the Mu manor given the fact that the Mu family had never approved her existence? Nanxian could feel Mu Ling's stare. He glanced at Mu Ling calmly. He looked cold and distant. Mu Ling trembled with fear. Mu Ling could not help but withdraw his gaze from Feng Ruching. What was preposterous was the fact that one's father was afraid of his son. Brother Lin. Chen Qingyan tugged at Mu Ling's sleeves. She smiled and walked towards Suyi. Sister Suyi, don't care about what they have just said. They'll discipline them later. It's so good that you're back with us. Brotherling and I have missed you a lot. Chun Qingyin sounded calm and gentle, but it was clear that she was declaring her authority and superiority in front of Suyi. She seemed to imply that the Mu family was under her care now. Suyi, ignore that bad woman. The old master sneered and turned his head around in annoyance. He did not even want to look at Chun Qingyin. Me for extra chapters. Chun Qingyin felt awkward, but she was used to being treated like that by the old master. She soon recovered herself. Sister Suyi, I went to the Southern Ocean for his sake this time. I found the heart of the Southern Ocean. It's a present for him. I wonder what kind of present you have prepared for him. The heart of the Southern Ocean. It was a type of spirit herb. It grew in the Southern Ocean. It was shaped like a shell, and it could be used as a medicine. It could cure various illnesses. Surely, it could not cure every illness. Some peculiar illnesses could not be cured. It was not a cure for poisoning too. The old master's illness was not a common one. It seemed that the heart of the Southern Ocean would be useless too. But the heart of the Southern Ocean was located in the middle of the ocean. It was a rather significant spot for the Southern Ocean. It was just like a human's heart. That was why it was called the heart of the Southern Ocean. Additionally, that spot was dangerous. It was rumored that there was a giant dragon guarding that place. So, it was not an easy task to retrieve the heart of the Southern Ocean. Therefore, her deed was considered filial and good, even though the heart of the Southern Ocean probably could not cure the old master's illness. Chapter 916. I agreed to this marriage vi. Mu Ling's throat was hoarse. He seemed guilty and sorry. Qingyin, you've done a lot for us. Chun Qingyin shook her head and smiled slightly. It's not a big deal. I'm willing to do anything for the old master's sake. Mu Ling would definitely pull Chun Qingyin into his embrace. But Suyi was there, and he suppressed his urges several times. Suyi was willing to return to the Mu family. He could not show off his intimate feelings for Qingyin in front of her. If not, Suyi might leave angrily and never come back. Sister, Qingyin smiled calmly. You're close to the old master. You must have prepared something precious for him. Suyi smiled slightly. That's for sure. Although the heart of the Southern Ocean is precious, it's useless for the old master. In fact, the heart of the Southern Ocean could cure various illnesses, but it could not cure the old master's illness. It was because she had tried that before. Chun Qingyin almost could not maintain her smile. What you have said is indeed true. But I have to try even though there's only a little hope left, right? The old master pushed Chun Qingyin aside, and she nearly fell down. Mu Ling quickly rushed to help Chun Qingyin. He kept her in his embrace. Then, he stared at the old master angrily. Father! The old master did not even look at Mu Ling. He protected Suyi and shielded her behind her, just like how a father would do. That woman is too bad. She must have planned something against you. Ask her to stay away from Suyi. Don't let her get near Suyi. Chun Qingyin paled. Her eyes were filled with tears. She still could not understand the reason she was being treated so cruelly by the old master given that she had treated him nicely. Mother! Mu Shi and Mu Huan were anxious. They rushed to Chun Qingyin and stared at Suyi angrily. Nansu! Mu Huan gritted her teeth and she wanted to say something. But Mu Ling straightened his body and his face darkened. That's enough. Me for extra chapters. All of a sudden, the entire banquet hall fell into a deafening silence. Father, Suyi is always my wife. You don't have to doubt that. But could you please show some of your love and kindness to Qingyin? What has she done wrong? Why do you treat her like that in the banquet hall without caring for the fact that it might humiliate us? Keep your mouth shut. Suyi soon became cold and distant. I don't want to argue with you because today is the old master's birthday. But there's one thing you need to know. I'm not your wife. I have abandoned you when you chose to let go of our love before. Suyi, Mu Ling felt great pain. Are you serious this time? I have known Qingyin for many years now. Why are you forcing me to leave her? When have I ever joked about it? If you told me that you have been intimate with Chen Qingyin, I would never have married you. You always claim that she's your cousin. I didn't dwell on that. But it appears that I was too stupid. Suyi laughed coldly. Mu Ling, you have known her before me. They'll let her have you. From now on, we're no longer husband and wife. Feng Ruqing held Suyi's hand gently. Remember, you're the one who has divorced him and not the other way around. We'll send him the divorce papers later. Then, you'll no longer be related to each other. Shut your mouth. Mu Ling was outraged. Feng Ruqing must have persuaded Suyi to do what she was doing. It must be Feng Ruqing's fault. Chapter 917. I agree to this marriage. Ix Nanxian looked at Mu Ling. It seemed that he was plotting against him. Diarrhea for a month? No, it was too light a punishment. What about poisoning him? The pain of his organs eroding? That was not enough either. He had only said the wrong things. What about robbing him of the ability to talk? Turn him mute until he could no longer be so fierce toward Qing'e? It was still not enough. Oh, that was right. What about some poisonous ulcers in his mouth? That seemed to be all right. Gui picked up a teacup and threw it at Mu Ling in a swift movement. Mu Ling felt its presence before it hit him. He moved to the side and dodged the teacup. Gu Shi was still sipping his tea quietly while watching his daughter's action. He was smiling happily, and he did not have any intention to stop his daughter. Manor Master, what is the meaning of that? What does young Lady Gu want? Gu Shi smiled. Excuse me. My daughter has had the habit of throwing things around since she was young. She was annoyed with you just now, and that is why she did not hold back her urges. Young Manor Master Mu, Yi is still young. You won't be angry with her, would you? Mu Ling's face was twisted with anger. He would not be angry with Gui surely. So, he turned to look at Feng Ruqing again. Nanxian is my son. Another teacup was thrown at him again. Mu Ling was able to dodge it. However, the teacup accidentally hit Chen Qingyan. She burst into tears because it hurt her. Young Lady Gu. Father. Gui twirled around and said to her father, he scolded me. Gu Shi broke the teacup in his hand with great force. The smile disappeared from his face. He raised his head expressionlessly. Mu Ling froze. Gu Shi was someone who had murdered his previous manor master because of the conflicts between them. Mu Ling did not dare to infuriate him. Mu Ling suppressed his anger and turned to look at Feng Ruqing. Nanxian is my. He turned to look at Gui quickly when he said those words. It might be because of the fear of having teacups thrown at him, just like what had happened just now. He found that Gui was eating the fruits without paying him any attention. So, he continued talking after breathing a sigh of relief. Nanxian is my son. I don't agree to the marriage between the two of you. They'll never allow you to be a part of the Mu family. Moreover, you have even persuaded Suyi to do what she should never have done. Me for extra chapters. Nanxian looked at Mu Ling calmly. Then, he turned to look at Feng Ruqing. Can I speak now? He sounded so careful that it did not match his coldness and distance. Oh, what do you want to talk about? Feng Ruqing turned her head all of a sudden. She let down her guard and smiled beautifully. Am not a part of the Mu family. What Nanxian had said surprised everyone present. Their facial expressions changed drastically. Did he say that he was not one of them? Did he not belong to the Mu family? They had the impression that Nanxian was always filial toward Mu Ling. Why did he make a sudden claim like that in public? Brother Lin. Chen Qingyan realized that Mu Ling was going to fly into a rage again. She suppressed her tears and forced a smile. Let's forget about it. It's the old master's birthday. Don't cause any more arguments. If young Lady Feng wants to stay, she could stay. We'll discuss it after the old master's birthday. Is that okay? Mu Ling inhaled deeply. He clenched his fists tightly. His eyes were clouded with deep darkness. That woman had done a great deal. How dare she persuade Suyi and seduce Nanxian? If Qingyan did not say something favorable on her behalf, surely Mu Ling would never have forgiven her. Nanxian. Feng Ruqing realized that the man next to her had secretly raised his hand. She quickly held his fists. She smiled and said, You can even tie him up at the entrance of the city when the birthday party is over. Don't forget why we have come today." Nancian put down his hand. He was again cold and distant, just like an angel or gods. Mu Ling did not realize that he was nearly killed just now. He was safe now. He glared at Feng Ruqing. Chapter 9:18. I agree to this marriage. Nancian was silent for a moment. "If you look at her again, it'll make you blind." Mu Ling's face darkened. But he suppressed his anger because Chen Qingyin was tugging at his clothes. Actually, Chen Qingyin wanted so badly for them to quarrel with each other. However, she still wanted to see how Suyi would embarrass herself. She wanted everyone to label Suyi as a white-eyed wolf. The old master had treated Suyi nicely, but the gift Suyi had prepared was incomparable to what she had prepared. Suyi did not wait for Chen Qingyin, and soon she took out a jade bottle. "This gift was given to me by your granddaughter-in-law before. I have used some of it and kept the rest. I'll give the rest of it to you. If you're feeling better in the future, you can drink its contents." Suyi knew about Feng Ruqing's abilities. If Feng Ruqing was willing to lend them a hand, she might be able to cure the old master's illness. Feng Ruqing was rather surprised when she saw the jade bottle in Suyi's hand. She turned to look at Nancian suspiciously. Was it the spirit water that she had given to Nancian before? Why did Nancian give it to Suyi and claim that Feng Ruqing was the one who had prepared the gift? Mu Huan laughed coldly. She said sarcastically, "My mother has obtained the heart of the Southern Ocean with much difficulty. But you have only given the old master what you have used before. Isn't it obvious who is the ungrateful one here?" "Huaner." Chen Qingyin glared at Mu Huan. "It's the heart that counts. It does not matter what kind of gift one prepares. How could we compare them? What you have said is against the sincerity one has." Mu Huan sneered and did not agree with what her mother had said. Her mother was just too naive and nice. That was why she was bullied by Suyi. She was the one who had met her father first. She had the right to be with her father. Suyi was merely someone who came after her mother. Suyi did not even have the right to compete with Chen Qinghan. "Is it a drink?" The old master looked at Suyi and asked her. Suyi nodded with a smile. "Yes, you can drink that when you're feeling better." "Oh, that's wonderful. I like delicious drinks." The old master clapped his hands like a child. He could not wait until he was better and went on to immediately open the jade bottle. The cap of the jade bottle aided in sealing the spiritual force within the jade bottle. When the jade bottle was opened, all of the spiritual force rushed out in a gush. The guests could not help but stare at the jade bottle in the old master's hand. "Old master." Suyi sighed helplessly. She held out her hand and grabbed the jade bottle. Then, she put its cap back on. "It's better if you taste it in private. There are many people here. They might want to snatch it away." Suyi peeked at Chen Qingyin, and her underlying message was quite clear. Chen Qingyin paled. She appeared helpless. "Me for extra chapters." "Suyi." Mu Ling was upset to see Chen Qingyin like that. He glared at Suyi. Gu Shi rushed to the old master before Mu Ling could say anything more. "Is this spirit water? Is this really spirit water?" Everybody knew that only dark warriors could consume the spirit water. If dark warriors consume only a drop of the spirit water, they could make a breakthrough and advance up to 2 tiers in an instant. If anyone below Dark Warrior tier drank that spirit water, they would be killed. It was possible for anyone higher than Dark Warrior tier to drink that spirit water too. But its effects would be less significant once someone reached a higher tier. Gu Shi could not make a breakthrough directly even if he drank the spirit water. But the spirit water contained powerful spiritual force. Although he could not make a breakthrough directly, he could still make use of the spiritual force within the spirit water. He could absorb the spiritual force slowly, and it would be faster than his normal cultivation speed. Chapter 9:19. Forcing him to take a concubine? The other guests were astonished and their voices became loud and clear. "Manor Master, Are you saying that what the old master is holding in his hand is spirit water? Spirit water from the spirit spring? Isn't it very effective in aiding the cultivator to make a faster breakthrough? The spirit water is a holy item from heaven. It's something that can only be found by chance. They might have rushed forward to fight for the spirit water if Gu Shi was not there, or if the old master of the Mu family was not the one possessing the spirit water. Mu Ling was stunned. Soon, he lowered his eyes and stared at the jade bottle in the old master's hand. His breathing grew quick and short. He was rather excited. The old master was a part of the Mu family. His strength was weaker now, and he could not have the spirit water. Even if he was able to do so, he could only drink some of it without finishing the spirit water. The remaining spirit water would surely be his possession given that he was the master of the Mu family. What do you want? The old master anxiously held onto the jade bottle in his hand. He was vigilant. My daughter-in-law has given it to me. No one can snatch it away from me. If anyone dares to do that, they'll ask the butler to beat them up. The butler who was nearby was speechless. Chun Qingjian's face darkened. She clenched her fists tightly. She had actually wanted to embarrass Sui in front of everybody, but she never thought that she herself was the one being defeated. She could not accept the truth. Besides, both Mu Shi and Mu Huan did not feel as much as Chen Qingyan. They felt that they would be able to share the spirit water given that the spirit water now belonged to the Mu family. Qin Feier did not say a word since Feng Ruqing and Nan Xian had appeared. Her fair complexion paled. It seemed that life had drained from her body. She stared at Nan Xian in great pain. It was a deep sadness. She appeared to have been wronged and was deeply hurt. Her mother told her before that Sui only treated Feng Ruqing as her daughter rather than her daughter-in-law. It was ridiculous when she had just seen what happened in front of her. Nan Xian was always a filial son. If he listened to Mu Ling and took a concubine, he would definitely listen to Sui too. It was not so bad if Nan Xian's wife was Gui, but that awful woman would be his wife instead. When you held Qin Feier's trembling hands, she looked at her own daughter, her heart aching. Feier, we're at the Mu family. Don't say anything now. Let's see how young Master Mu deals with it. He will surely give us an appropriate explanation. Qin Feier bit her lower lip. She lowered her head and hid the sadness in her eyes. Me for extra chapters. The Mu family would be responsible to her. But young Lady Mu claimed that Feng Ruqing was her daughter-in-law. Did they want Qin Feier to give in to allowing Feng Ruqing to be Nan Xian's wife? If Nan Xian obeyed Sui and was determined to marry Feng Ruqing, she did not know whether she could keep her composure anymore. However, there was a great pain gnawing at her heart when she thought of giving up that godlike man. That pain was insufferable. Father. Chen Qingyan glanced at Shui who was standing behind her. Her eyes were dark. Then, she turned to look at the old master. Today, I want to announce good news since everyone is here. The old master was suddenly on his guard again. What kind of good news? Also, don't call me father. I'm not your father. Chen Qingyan was not bothered by what the old master had said. She smiled and turned to Gu Shi. Manor master, I hope that you'll be our witness. Gu Shi raised his brow. He looked at Chen Qingyan with uncertainty. He did not know what Chen Qingyan was planning to do this time around. It's rare that Xiener is here with us. I want to make a decision today given that it's the old master's birthday. I want Nan Xian to take young Lady An as his concubine. Chen Qingyan smiled gently, seemingly calm and relaxed. Chapter 920. Forcing him to take a concubine? However, what Chen Qingyan said sounded like a huge punch to everybody. Mu Ling was no exception. He was stunned at first. Soon, he became slightly angry. Qingyan, stop messing around. What are you doing? And Shui was expelled from the chief manor. She was useless indeed. How could she ever be suited to Nan Xian? Both Feng Ruqing and Nan Xian acted like they did not care at all. They were chatting with each other happily as if they did not hear what Chen Qingyan had said. Although I'm no longer a part of the Mu family, but my son is the eldest son of the Mu family. Sui laughed, softly. She appeared calm just like the breeze. But Why am I unaware that the marriage of the eldest son is decided by a concubine? Chun Kinjian's eyes became watery. Her eyes were filled with pitiful tears. Sister Suyi, we're sisters. Nancian is just like my son. I did this for his sake. Young lady and met with Nancian when she left Tian Shun Manor not long ago. They slept together that time. How could he not be responsible for that? If you don't believe what I said, you could ask somebody else to go and check her up to see whether she's innocent. All eyes fell on Enchui. Enchui paled. She appeared helpless. She turned to look at Qin Qingyan anxiously. Qin Qingyan had planned to make use of Enchui to trick Nancian into falling into a trap she had set for him. She wanted Enchui to stand between Nancian and Feng Ruqing. Surely, she would not care about how the story went on Encuy's side. She just wanted to achieve her goal. Losing one's innocence before the marriage was prohibited in the mainland. The public would not care whether they really loved each other. The men were allowed to be with whomever they wanted. But the women would be blamed for the rest of their lives if they lose their innocence before marriage. And Chui had risked everything this time just to be married into the Mu family. Brother Lin. Chen Qingyan turned around with a pitiful look. Have I done anything wrong? Nancian slept with young lady Yin. I couldn't help but do what I have done for her reputation. I'm sorry, Qingyan. Mu Ling's heart was aching. I shouldn't be angry with you. I have misunderstood you. He soon raised his head and stared at Nancian with angry eyes when he finished talking. He scolded Nancian sternly. Nancian, you bastard. How could you do this kind of dirty thing and run away from your responsibility? Why do I have this kind of son? Now, you must marry young lady and immediately. Mu Ling knew his son's personality. Nancian always appeared to be calm and distant. He seemed not to care about anything in the world. Nancian did not even utter any word just now when the Mu family had said so much. Me for extra chapters. Clearly, Nancian would not speak much under such circumstances. Normally, Nancian would surely reject this kind of proposition. But there were a lot of people. He would never disobey Mu Ling if he wanted to protect his reputation. A soft laugh was heard in the peaceful banquet hall. Feng Ruqing smiled happily. You said that whatever you're doing is to help protect her reputation. But you have pushed her forward and revealed the truth about her loss of innocence. You have even suggested to us to have her body checked by someone else in front of everybody here. Is that really your way of protecting her reputation? Chun Qingyan paled. I am just afraid that Nancian would refuse to be responsible when he has taken advantage of her. How could young lady Yin survive from now on? Brother Ling, I have done that because I was forced to do so. I didn't intend to ruin young lady Yin. That's enough. Mu Ling was outraged. He scolded Feng Ruqing. Feng Ruqing, I know what you're doing. Don't you want to be a part of the Mu family? I'm telling you now, it's impossible. Not everyone can be accepted to be a part of the Mu family. Chapter 921. Forcing him to take a concubine? A heavy pressure came over Mu Ling, and it made him unable to breathe. His whole body froze like a stone. All his words were stuck in his throat, and he could not speak out loud. He looked around with a shocked expression, but his gaze fell on Nancian, who was still calm and cool. No, it was not him. Nancian's strength was not that powerful. This suppression came over Mu Ling like a giant mountain. Nancian could never possess such powerful strength. In fact, cultivators needed to cultivate their strength endlessly days in and days out, no matter how talented they were born. They could never be as powerful as that in under so short a time as 20 years. Young Master Nancian. Enchui cried harshly and rushed toward Nancian. She seemed pitiful. You promised that you would be responsible for what you have done when you touched me that day. I've given you everything. You cannot leave me behind. A sword flashed by before the young girl could touch Nancian. Her arms were chopped off and her fresh blood gushed out. The time seemed to have stopped right at that moment. The man's robe was still snow-white under the moonlight. Not a single drop of blood stained his clothes. He seemed cold and distant, as if he did not care for the world. He remained godlike. However, although he had an angelic face, he was doing what the devil would have done. And Chui fainted from great pain. Her face was white as a sheet because she had lost too much blood. Her face was twisted in agony. Feng Ruqing did not allow Shui to faint there and then. She moved forward and took out a green jade fruit and fed it to Shui. It was a fruit called the emerald grape. It was able to refresh one's mind. It meant that Shui would not slip out of consciousness no matter how much pain she was in. And Cui's senses were magnified. She curled up into a ball from agony. She was frightened and panicking. Luckily, her blood had stopped because of the spirit herb. However, her pain did not disappear but simply worsened. And Cui's arms were chopped off. If she was left there alone, she might die after a short while from losing too much blood. Feng Ruqing did not intend to let her die so soon. At least, she wanted Shui to speak for herself. She wanted Shui to tell the truth. Nan Xian. Mu Ling used a lighter tone this time, but there was much more anger in him. What have you done? You bullied that young girl first. Now, you are treating her like that. Why are you no better than the beasts? The Mu family's reputation was ruined by Nan Xian. All eyes fell on Nan Xian and Feng Ruqing. They could not help but inhale sharply. Me for extra chapters. Those people were devils. He had bullied an innocent girl and then treated her so cruelly. How could he do so? Nan Xian remained calm and cool. His tone was light and soft. He did not seem to care at all. I have erectile dysfunction. What? Feng Ruqing nearly choked on her own saliva. Erectile dysfunction? Then, what was the thing against her body when they were lying on the same bed back then? Everyone was shocked. It was obvious that Nan Xian's response was beyond their imagination. Chen Qingyan claimed that Nan Xian had slept with Shui. But how could he stain her innocence if Nan Xian had erectile dysfunction? If Nan Xian was the one lying here, was it possible that a normal man would claim that he had erectile dysfunction in front of everybody? Men usually like to boast about their capabilities. Why would he slander himself and ruin his own reputation? If what Nan Xian said was the truth, it meant that Shui was a terrible woman. She would risk everything in order to achieve her target. Am able to prove that. Gui raised her hand. She got up from her seat and smiled happily. In fact, I plan to keep quiet about it for the Mu family's reputation. Hence, I lied that Nan Xian has another lover, and I rejected the marriage out of anger. But it's my father who has investigated Nan Xian secretly and realized that he has erectile dysfunction. That was why we have rejected the marriage for my happiness. Chapter 922. Forcing him to take a concubine? For Gu Shi's eyes widened. He was wondering when he had investigated such a thing, but he remained calm and serious for his daughter's sake. He replied, solemnly, "That's right. That's why we have broken off the engagement. How could I push my daughter into a deep fire pit and let her remain there for the rest of her life?" The crowd was shocked. That explained why Gu Shi was infuriated at first. It could all be explained now that they knew of Nan Xian's problem. Everything could be explained now that the truth was revealed. Everybody believed in Nan Xian after Gu Yi and Gu Shi had spoken. They threw sympathetic glances at Feng Ruqing. She would surely be having a difficult life by staying with a man like that. Feng Ruqing was beautiful and captivating. She would surely be unable to endure the pain of loneliness and have affairs with the others after she was married to Nan Xian. Then, they would have their chances. It's impossible. Chen Qingyan paled. You have erectile dysfunction? If you do have that, why does Sister Suyi want so badly for you to marry somebody? Why would young Lady Feng be with you without ever abandoning you? Nan Xian looked at Chen Qingyan, calmly. It's because she's able to cure my illness. The underlying message was that Nan Xian could not be with any woman except Feng Ruqing. Feng Ruqing was the only one who could discern his underlying message. The others understood that Feng Ruqing was a doctor and surely she could cure Nan Xian's illness. Young Lady Feng. The wife of Grandmaster Qian Kun's adopted son walked toward Feng Ruqing with a smile. My adoptive father has always talked about you. Now, I can see that you're really a talented person. He has even said that he wanted to discuss medical skills with you one day. He even told me that young Lady Gu has become this beautiful and dazzling woman because of your medical skills. If I want to slim down in the future, they'll surely ask for your help. All of a sudden, the ladies and young ladies present turned their gazes at Feng Ruqing. Their eyes shone with excitement. Everybody yearned to become much prettier. Everybody knew what Gu Yi looked like in the past. Now, they had heard that it was much to Feng Ruqing's credit. They all looked at her. Nanxian grew cold when he saw how Feng Ruqing had attracted the women's attention. He pulled Feng Ruqing into his embrace. It seemed like he was trying to show his ownership. Fine. Feng Ruqing was always gentle toward women. She did not reject the lady when the lady approached her directly. She smiled softly. You're welcome to come and meet me anytime you like. Her smile was dazzling and captivating. Me for extra chapters. She could dazzle anybody even if she was saying nothing significant. Mu Ling did not scold Feng Ruqing this time around. He stared at Feng Ruqing with renewed hope. Was she able to cure erectile dysfunction? Then, could his illness be cured too? If Feng Ruqing could cure him, he would surely allow her to become Nanxian's concubine as her compensation. There's me too. Another girl stood up. Her face was pinkish and cute like a doll. I have dark eye circles recently. I'm wondering if young lady Feng could cure that too? Of course. You can come and meet me for this kind of thing in the future because I have something else to deal with now. Feng Ruqing lowered her eyes and stared at Shui with a faint smile. Shui was still in a muddled state of mind since earlier. She had plotted for a long time that she never thought that Nanxian had erectile dysfunction. When Shui saw how Feng Ruqing looked at her, she became nervous and frightened. She rolled away from Feng Ruqing by dragging herself toward Gu Shi with her wounded hands. Uncle, please save me. I didn't do that on purpose. I really didn't. Chapter 9:23. Forcing him to take a concubine? Gu Shi closed his eyes. Shui had been staying in the Gu family for quite a long time. It was impossible if he did not have feelings for her. But he could not anger or sadden his daughter for an outsider's sake. So, he turned around and refused to look at Shui. Cuy's heart turned cold. If her uncle refused to care for her, the others would surely kill her. Suddenly, she saw a pale face in front of her. She cried and rushed toward Chen Qingyan, grabbing onto the last surviving hope. Lady Qingyan, my uncle has abandoned me now. You cannot leave me alone. You're the one who has ordered me to do all of these things. You told me that I could force young Master Nanxian to marry me if I use this method. It's you who has asked me to lose my innocence beforehand. Lady Qingyan, save me. I don't want to be Nanxian's concubine anymore. I want to go home. The entire banquet hall fell into a deep silence. What Shui said sounded like a great thunder, and it rumbled loudly in everyone's mind. They could not grasp what was happening for a long moment. Was Chen Qingyan the mastermind behind all that had happened? Was she the one who had ordered Shui to frame Nanxian, so that Nanxian could be forced to marry Shui? How could she be that shameless? They had always thought that Chen Qingyan was a kind and gentle person. How dare you? Chen Qingyan trembled. It was you who has told me what happened later on. I took you here because I'm thinking about your reputation. Now, you want to frame me when the truth is revealed. Shui, how could you repay my kindness with such a deed? Her tears ran down her face ceaselessly. She seemed to be in great pain. Her pain of betrayal was so deep and real that no one would think that she was acting. Mu Ling was doubtful at first, but all he felt was guilt when he saw how miserable Chen Qingyan appeared. How could he distrust her? Qingyan was always gentle and kind. She could never be as cruel and evil as other women, and Shui must be the one who had plotted everything. Now, she wanted to frame Qingyan when everything was revealed. This kind of person was detestable. Get lost. Mu Ling kicked Shui far away. He was enraged. You need to be responsible for everything that you have done. Qingyan would never do such a thing. Chen Qingyan cried even harder when she had gained Mu Ling's trust. Brother Ling, thank you for believing in me. I didn't ask Shui to frame Nanxian. She's the one who has done everything to herself. We've been together for so many years now. How would I not know about your personality? Don't cry. I will always trust you even though I don't believe in anyone else. That was right. He would always believe in her even though he chose not to trust anyone else. Me for extra chapters. Chun Qingyan lowered her eyes and put her head against Mu Ling's chest. Her lips curled up into a smug smile. It had always been that way all these years. Mu Ling did not trust the old master and Mu Qingying. He did not trust Suyi and Chui either. He only believed in her. Feng Ruqing grabbed Suyi's hand tightly. Feng Ruqing was saddened by how Suyi was being treated in the Mu family. Mu Ling did not believe in anyone else except Chen Qingyan. Similarly, he believed in everyone else except Suyi. Yet, he kept claiming that he loved Suyi deeply. That kind of love was ridiculous. Suyi gave Feng Ruqing a smile. She seemed to be assuring Feng Ruqing that she had let go of the past long ago. What Mu Ling and Chen Qingyan did could not stir any emotions in her anymore. She was as calm as still water. The others were not as blind as Mu Ling. They did not have that kind of strong feelings for Chen Qingyan. Moreover, they were not idiots. Chapter 924. Everybody came to congratulate him. Everyone believed in Chen Qingyan before that happened. Now, they had different opinions regarding her personality since they had realized something else about her. See, Mu Ling patted Chun Qingyan's back and consoled her. Soon, he turned to look at Suyi. Suyi, it's Qingyan who didn't investigate into the matter, and hence she has nearly accused Nancian wrongly. Since Nancian really adores young Lady Feng, it's fine even if he wants to marry her. But, you do know about the Mu family's rules. She can only be a concubine given her background and birth. Suyi sneered sarcastically. I'm an orphan and have nobody else to support me. Didn't you marry me too back then? Being married to Mu Ling had only one silver lining for Suyi. She was grateful that she could have Nancian as her son and Feng Ruqing as her daughter-in-law. Her heart felt much better after she thought about that. Mu Ling frowned slightly. Suyi, it's not the same. How could Suyi be compared to Feng Ruqing when Suyi was the woman he had adored while Feng Ruqing was the woman his son adored? He would not care about influences and power as long as he adored her. But the woman picked by his son must be suited to his family if he wanted to get married at all. In short, Nancian's sufferings had nothing to do with him, since he was not the one who would have to endure all the pain. Young Lady Feng is indeed beautiful, but being attractive is not something very significant and useful in this world. We must choose a woman whose birth and background is suited to our family. Young Manor Master Mu is right. The Mu family would never allow him to marry any woman he adores. Moreover, young Master Nancian claimed that young Lady Feng could cure his illness. It means that he will be better one day. Surely the Mu family will only allow young Lady Feng to become Nancian's concubine. It's a pity. Young Master Nancian is a filial son. He will surely listen to his parents. Nancian could not marry young Lady Feng openly and honorably since young Master Mu is the one making the decision here. No father would admit that their children were unfilial in front of everyone. Mu Ling valued fame and vanity. He would never speak the truth no matter how Nancian had disobeyed him. He even claimed that Nancian was a filial son. Mu Ling's facial expression darkened when he heard how the others talked about Nancian. He was afraid that Nancian would disobey him in front of everybody. Luckily, Nancian still appeared calm and cold. He walked toward Mu Ling calmly without any facial expression. He was neither angry nor happy. It seemed that he had not much unnecessary emotion. Nancian. Me for extra chapters. Boom. A strong and powerful force hit Mu Ling's chest without any forewarning. His body was flung away before he landed on the stage in the banquet hall. Pin-drop silence fell upon the banquet hall. Mushi was rather excited compared to the others. The others appeared shocked and surprised. How dare Nancian attack his father? He would surely be ruined this time. He would no longer be a part of the Mu family. Ha ha ha. The old master held the jade bottle in one hand and pig's trotters in the other. Now, he threw the pig's trotters happily and laughed hysterically. Finally, someone has beaten him up. Ha ha ha. That's wonderful. Go ahead and beat this bastard up. Beat him. Suyi patted the old master's hand. Your table is knocked over. Let's go down and take a seat there. Good, I'm still hungry. The old master smiled happily and followed closely behind Suyi. He was still clutching the jade bottle in his hand tightly. He was afraid that someone might come and snatch it away. Brother Ling. Chen Qingyin was frightened out of her wits. She rushed toward Mu Ling quickly. She then helped him to get up and stared at Nan Xian with sorrowful eyes. Nan Xian, what are you doing? He's your father. Chapter 925. Everybody came to congratulate him too. Nan Xian appeared cold and expressionless. He was calm. I'm showing my respect to him. Mu Ling cleared his throat. He got up with a cold expression. He clenched his fists tightly, and it was obvious that he was outraged. Nan Xian, how could that unfilial son humiliate me in front of everybody? What was he trying to prove by doing so? There were no parents who were wrong in this world. Nan Xian had attacked his father in front of everyone. They would only blame him and label him as an unfilial son. Nobody has the right to decide my marriage for me. The man's clothes were as white as the snow. He seemed cold and distant. Qing'er is my only wife forever. They'll not take any concubine for the rest of my life. Mu Ling's body shook with frustration. How could that bastard announce such a thing like that? How dare you? I'm your father. Oh. Nan Xian still appeared calm. You're no longer my father if you're dead. The underlying message was that Nan Xian would surely kill Mu Ling if Mu Ling claimed that he was Nan Xian's father again. If Mu Ling was dead, he would be nobody to anyone anymore. Mu Ling had bloodshot eyes now. He appeared fierce and angry. Unfilial son, are you planning on killing your own father? You'll be punished if you kill your own father. You'll be struck by lightning. It's against natural law. It's enough for me as long as Qing'er is with me. I don't care if what I do is against the natural law. So what if everyone became his enemy? What if it was against natural law? Nan Xian would kill anybody who dared to annoy Feng Ruqing. That was only a warning. But Mu Ling knew clearly that Nan Xian had always done what he said he would. That man seemed like an angel who cared not for the worldly things. But he was actually much crueler than the devils themselves. No one could escape death if they were to fall into his traps. Feng Ruqing walked toward Nan Xian, and now she was standing beside him. She smiled happily. It was a captivating sight. Nan Xian doesn't have to do it himself if he wants to kill you. Aren't you familiar with hiring someone to kill? Mu Ling trembled vigorously. What do you want? Why are you speaking to me like that? Aren't you afraid that you'll never be accepted to be a part of the Mu family? The Mu family? Feng Ruqing laughed coldly. Do I care about your Mu family? Young lady, don't assume that I'm dumb. You are just yearning for the power and influence of the Mu family. That's why you have seduced Nan Xian. Mu Ling gritted his teeth and spoke his mind fiercely. Feng Ruqing cocked her eyebrows. She smiled and touched Nan Xian's handsome face. State Preceptor, did I seduce you? Nan Xian looked at her gently. He stroked the young girl's hair with her slender fingers. No, it was me who seduced you the first time I met you. Me for extra chapters. Feng Ruqing was speechless. Mu Ling nearly vomited blood out of frustration. The guests were annoyed too. They came to join a party. But they never thought that they would have to endure a public display of affection, since there were quite a number of them who were single. Could Nan Xian refrain from showing such affection to Feng Ruqing? Could they consider the feelings of single people too? Qin Fei suddenly cleared her throat. She used a handkerchief to cover her mouth. When she removed the handkerchief, she saw that it was stained with fresh blood. Why can't you take that? Qin Fei did not know when Gui had walked toward her. Gui peeked at Qin Fei with a smug face. You'll have more to endure in the future. You better save some blood for that. Don't lose it all at once. Unknowingly, Gui had indescribable happiness when she saw Qin Fei like that. Luoli did not do the same. Although she no longer favored Qin Fei now, Qin Fei was once her friend too. Luoli had never pushed other people down harder when they were having a hard time. Qin Fei clenched the handkerchief in her hand tightly. She was pale. The couple in front of her looked at each other, deep in love. It was a painful sight for her. It made her heart ache. It turned out that Nan Xian was a man who was attracted by beautiful people too. It was ridiculous that Qin Feier had assumed that Nan Xian would be different from the other men. Qin Feier laughed at herself. She was either laughing at her own naive thought or her unrequited love. Chapter 926. Everybody came to congratulate him. Bastard and bitch. Mu Ling clenched his fists tightly. He would totally have rushed forward and killed them both if Nan Xian did not show his great power just now. He was slightly afraid of Nan Xian's true strength. Bastard and bitch? Are you talking about you and Qin Qingyan? Feng Ruqing smiled. You knew that long ago, didn't you? I thought that you're unaware of it. It seems that you're much better than I thought you were. Mu Ling turned around and saw Chun Qingyan's pale face. Mu Ling's heart hurt when he saw Chun Qingyan's pitiful face. It was agonizing for him. Bitch. Mu Huan seemed fierce. She raised her hand and slapped Feng Ruqing hard on her face. Sui jumped up all of a sudden. Gu Yi drew the sword of an imperial guard near her, and now she was rushing toward Mu Huan too. The smile on Gu Shi's face disappeared suddenly. He seemed cold and fierce. Nan Xian brought Feng Ruqing into his embrace and looked Mu Huan coldly. He wanted to do something about it. But Feng Ruqing had stretched her leg out and given Mu Huan a harsh kick. Mu Huan was a spirit warrior even though she was only 18 years old. Her talent was exceptional even in the reclusive world. But everyone knew that Mu Huan's talent was aided by numerous spirit herbs. Her true strength still could not be denied even if it was the truth. Now, all of Mu Huan's arrogance and pride was crushed by Feng Ruqing. Mu Huan crashed against the wall in front of everybody. She vomited a mouthful of blood. She was not graceful anymore, but her face was twisted with frustration. Sui cares for the old master very much. Will not kill any member of the Mu family for his sake. Feng Ruqing looked down on Mu Huan with a condescending look. But if anybody dares to provoke me or act like an elder and scold Nan Xian, they'll definitely make it a battlefield here. I won't hold back anymore no matter what day it is today. No one dared to be so rude toward Mu Huan since she had become Grandmaster Hairong's disciple. Feng Ruqing was the only one who dared to do that. Let's forget about it. Chen Qingyan threw a glance at Mu Huan and tried to stop her from doing anything else. She pursed her lips. Today is the old master's birthday. We don't have to be so nasty toward each other. Let's tolerate each other. I really had no idea about an CUIS plan. She's the one who has plotted it. She turned her focus back to Shui. Me for extra chapters. That was when they realized that Shui had been forgotten and ignored for a long time. But Shui fainted again from the pain as the spirit herb had lost its effects. Forget about it? Mu Ling hugged Chun Qingyan's waist tightly. Nan Xian is disrespectful toward me. His woman even more so. How can we forget about that and let it go? Nan Xian raised his hand again secretly. At that moment, a sound pierced the night sky. Nan Xian's fierce anger disappeared. Great Elder of Fengyun clan presents a gift to congratulate the old master for his 70th birthday. Fengyun clan? The crowd looked at each other. They did not understand what had happened. Fengyun clan was founded some 10 years ago, but it has improved much in such a short time. It's indeed rather amazing. Fengyun clan might be able to surpass the 3 influences if they were given 100 years. But the 3 influences have existed for over 1,000 years. They own not only great strength but also numerous rare treasures. It's a pity that none of the young people from the 3 influences are geniuses. Their talents are built and cultivated through the use of spirit herbs. There's young Master Nan Xian from Tian Shan Manor. Jiu Ming comes from Deity's Gate. The Divine Herbs sect is the worst. There are no such talented people in the Divine Herbs sect. I could see that Fengyun clan will soon become the Divine Herbs sect. ITLL surely replace the Divine Herbs sect in less than 100 years. Chapter 927. Everybody came to congratulate him, for it was amazing given that Fengyun clan could achieve such power and influence in only slightly over a decade. Everyone soon noticed them. They were on their guards against Fengyun clan. The three forces could be so powerful and condescending given that they have 1,000 years of background and history. They built their power with spirit herbs. They assumed that they could create a genius using the spirit herbs even though there was none among them. But it was only a tactic that could only be used for a short period of time. If the supply of the spirit herbs depleted, they would still be replaced by the other clans. Fengyun clan seemed to be advancing in that direction. Great Elder Lei Yun appeared in the moonlight. Hong Yu and a few others followed closely behind him. He soon saw Old Master Mu standing next to Suyi. He could recognize him at first sight. Old Master Mu, Tianshan Manor is quite far from Fengyun Manor. That's why I'm late. Lei Yun smiled and waved his hand. Hong Yu, quickly present our gift to the Old Master. It's for the Old Master only. He emphasized that the gift was only for the Old Master. Mu Ling's face darkened.
Yes.
Hong Yu carried a box that was used to store the spirit herb, respectfully. She bent down in front of the Old Master. There's a grade 7 spirit herb in the box. It's Snow Lingji. Snow Lingji. Everyone sucked in their breaths. The heart of the Southern Ocean could cure numerous illnesses. But the Snow Lingji could save one's life as long as they were still breathing. Feng Ruqing was touched by what her parents had done. They must have gone through a lot of troubles in order to obtain the Snow Lingji. They did that just to give her their full support. Mu Ling was not bothered about Fengyun clan before. But now, he was greatly shocked. Grade 7 spirit herb? How did the people from Fengyun clan obtain that? Lei Yun noticed the other's surprised expression. However, he remained calm. He smiled. My manor master mentioned that we're going to become in-laws with the old master soon. It's not a loss if we gave the Snow Lingji to the old master. We just hoped that the young lady and the old master would treat our young lady nicely. Great Elder Lei Yun had never mentioned Mu Ling from beginning till the end. It seemed that he was ignoring Mu Ling. Me for extra chapters. Mu Ling would surely feel angry if he was ignored like that in the past. But all his attention was captured by the Snow Lingji. He stared at it for a long time. The others did not know about Lei Yun. But Sui had met him before when she was in Luyun Kingdom. Surely Sui recognized him and knew that he was Feng Ruqing's mother's subordinate. She smiled and wanted to receive the gift for the old master. But Gu Yi became infuriated and stood up immediately. Who's your young lady? Why has she come to disrupt them? Do you really assume that Xiaoqing could be easily bullied? Everyone wants to bully her. What else can Nan Xian do for Xiaoqing other than seducing her? He's just a vixen. He has even brought her so much trouble. It's better if Xiaoqing ends up with me. Feng Ruqing was dazzled. She turned her head slowly and gazed upon Nan Xian's handsome face. Was Nan Xian a vixen? When was Nan Xian associated with vixen? Mu Ling was shocked. He felt that Gu Yi's response was weird. Young lady Gu, what do you mean? Gu Yi stared at Mu Ling, angrily. Don't you know what I mean? All of you want to bully Xiaoqing. Xiaoqing, just forget about that vixen and marry me instead. I promise that I'll never cause so much trouble. I can even cook for you, warm your bed, be your palace maid, and build a harem for you. Nan Xian was a germaphobe, regardless of the fact that the person was Feng Ruqing's friend. So, he tore off an innocent youth's clothes and wrapped them around his hand. Then, he advanced toward Gu Yi and grabbed her clothes. Soon, she was dragged out of the place. Nan Xian then threw her out harshly. Chapter 928. Everybody came to congratulate him. Nan Xian completed those series of actions in a swift movement. Gu Shi did not even manage to respond to it before his daughter was thrown out of the banquet hall in front of everybody. Vixen Nan Xian. Gu Yi got up angrily. She rushed toward the entrance of the banquet hall. You just want to drive me away so that you can have Xiaoqing all to yourself. Boom. The door of the banquet hall was slammed shut in her face. The young girl's angry voice was muffled. Gu Yi stamped her feet angrily on the other side of the door. She cursed at Nan Xian and all of his family members as well as his ancestors. But it became quiet again in the banquet hall. Gu Shi could not hold the teacup in his hand properly, so it fell to the floor. He seemed awkward. Young Master Nanxian, is only joking around. I hope you won't mind. Everyone thought that Gu Shi would be infuriated with what Nanxian had done, but Gu Shi had only made a light remark on that. In actual fact, Gu Shi could not have done anything to Nanxian. Feng Ruqing loved Nanxian, and Gu Shi's daughter adored Feng Ruqing. If Gu Shi harmed Nanxian, his daughter would surely fight him to death anyway. Nanxian stopped walking. Get her married in 3 months' time. Gu Shi was speechless. Read more chapter on novelful Nanxian had pinpointed the wish that was buried deep down in Gu Shi's heart. Gu Shi wanted so badly to get her married, too. Mu Ling's facial expression worsened. He clenched his fists tightly. His breathing became erratic. Initially, he had picked Tang Yin from the Tang family to be Nanxian's wife. But Feng Ruqing had captured Tang Yin's heart instead. After that, he had gone and looked for another woman for Nanxian. It was after much toil that he had found Gu Yi. But Feng Ruqing had captured her heart too. He was uncertain whether he was helping Nanxian or Feng Ruqing to search for a wife. Great Elder Lei Yun, I'll agree to this marriage since you want to become our in-laws. It was impossible for the Mu family to become in-laws with the chief manor now. Me for extra chapters. Fengyun clan was still slightly weaker than the Qin family and the Mu family. But he did not have to compare them now. He could wait patiently. It was possible if they allowed Nanxian to marry the manor lady of Fengyun clan. In short, anyone was better than Feng Ruqing. Lei Yun wanted to respond to that, but soon he remembered Nalan Yan's order. He was hesitant for a moment. Then, he gathered his courage and replied, My manor master told me that young manor master Mu could not decide upon Nanxian's marriage. It must be between Lady Suyi and I to decide upon this marriage. Mu Ling paled right tin. His face turned white then green interchangeably. It was just like a dye house. Great Elder Lei Yun, what do you mean? Mu Ling gritted his teeth and asked harshly. Suyi only approved of Feng Ruqing. If she was the one appointed to make the decision here, she would surely reject that marriage. Mu Ling became calmer when he thought of that. You might not know what actually happened. Suyi is being deceived by someone else. She will accept no one. You can ask her to be sure. I agree. Suyi smiled and replied calmly. The banquet hall became noisy and alive again. Everyone could see how Suyi had treated Feng Ruqing just now. They realized that Suyi was quite satisfied with Feng Ruqing to be her daughter-in-law. Why did she agree upon that marriage so easily? Luoli and Qin Fei were confused too. They stared at the girl who was smiling happily. Ha ha ha. Great Elder Lei Yun laughed out loud. He stroked his sleeves and turned to walk toward Feng Ruqing. Young lady, Lady Suyi has given her agreement. It's a pity that His Majesty and the Manor Master could not be here today. We need to wait for them to make the final decision. We're just making a verbal promise now. Mu Ling secretly breathed a sigh of relief when he heard what Suyi had said, but his face froze before he could say anything further. Chapter 929. Everybody came to congratulate him. 6. What did you just call her? Mu Ling turned his head gingerly. He stared at Lei Yun blankly. It seemed as if he was struck by lightning. She's my manor lady. Lei Yun smiled happily. He sounded polite. All the air seemed to disappear around Mu Ling. He felt like he could not breathe anymore. His face turned red. Was Feng Ruqing the manor lady of Fengyun clan? Did Fengyun clan not just use slightly over a decade to become so powerful that they were only slightly weaker than the 3 major influences? It was impossible. That was definitely impossible. Han Feng had investigated her identity before. She was only a royal princess from the secular world. She did not even come from the reclusive world. Luoli became calmer after listening to what Lei Yun had said. She assumed that Suyi had given Feng Ruqing up and had chosen the manor lady from Fengyun clan instead. It appeared now that Lady Suyi was well aware of Feng Ruqing's identity long ago. That engagement would be proper and well-suited. My grandson is going to marry soon. It's wonderful. The old master clapped his hands and laughed ecstatically. I trust your insights, Suyi. You have only judged Mu Ling wrongly. You always have good insight. Haha, my grandson is all grown up now. Finally, he's going to have a wife. Xiao Qingyin, when are you going to get married? Mu Qingyin coughed softly. Father, I have told you. I cannot ruin the lives of other innocent girls. Read more chapter on novelful I don't care. You must marry. Otherwise, I won't eat or drink from now on. Let me starve to death. The old master said in a huff. Mu Qingyian's lips twitched. If you are using hunger strike to threaten me, could you please stop eating that pig's trotters while you're making that claim? Who would believe what you have just said if you're doing that? At that moment, another sound was heard in the dark of the night. It soon broke the silence of the banquet hall. Guardian Feng Lan from Paramount. I have come to congratulate the old master on his birthday. Paramount? All of them were shocked. They turned toward the entrance, suspiciously. Me for extra chapters. It appears that the young master from Paramount is from Deity's Gate. Why are the people from Deity's Gate coming to congratulate old Master Mu on his birthday? He's working for young Master Jiuming too. Moreover, Paramount's business is really good now. It's quite popular. Although it is opened in the secular world, young Master Jiuming's identity is special. They also sell effective herbal dishes. Paramount has become famous all over the mainland. However, we have only heard of the young master from Paramount, but have never met the owner. Doesn't Paramount's owner come from Deity's Gate too? Someone like young Master Jiuming would bow down to anybody else other than the people from Deity's Gate. Feng Ruqing gazed at Feng Lan, who was advancing toward them under the moonlight. She had an uneasy feeling. She subconsciously retreated a few steps and stood behind Nanxian. Feng Lan soon saw Feng Ruqing's awkward retreat. She laughed softly. She had a feeling that the princess would not give the young master up so easily this time. Old master. Feng Lan took light steps toward the old master. We're here to deliver you some gifts from Paramount. Come and bring them up. Yes. The palace maids behind Feng Lan lined up in rows. Every palace maid carried in their hands a box storing the spirit herb. Spirit herbs were considered rather rare and special in the mainland. Thus, everyone would consider giving spirit herbs as gifts. It was the same situation for Paramount, which was famous for selling spirit herbs. The people from the Mu family were deeply shocked. They stared at the boxes and gulped in nervousness. They were stunned. Chapter 930. Everyone came to congratulate him. Feng Lan was aware of the peeping glances, but she just smirked as if she did not care about them at all. These spirit herbs are prepared by Paramount only for Old Master. In another word, the rest of the Mu family members were not entitled to even a bit of it. Everyone's smile faded, awkwardly. Why did this message sound similar to Feng Yun clan's? On behalf of my father, I sincerely thank young Master Jiuming. Mu Ling shot a fierce glance at those Mu family members who were eyeing the gift hungrily before turned his focus to Feng Lan. He softened his voice when he said, since Paramount has already emphasized that these spirit herbs are solely for my father, I think everyone else has understood it well. These past few years, the Mu family had provided Old Master with many precious spirit herbs, so Mu Ling did not care about these spirit herbs. He only cared about the spirit water in the old master's possession. Feng Lan smiled softly and said, these spirit herbs are not given by the young master. Mu Ling was stunned. Not Jiuming? Who else could take this much of spirit herbs from Paramount and send them to other people as gifts? Since it isn't from the young master, the only person who has such access must be Paramount's owner. Nobody had heard about Paramount's owner, although they were aware that the person must be someone from Deity's Gate who was ranked higher than Jiuming. However, none of them had ever seen the clan master before, so everyone was curious about this person. Mu Ling was shocked after listening to Feng Lan's revelation. His eyes filled with confusion. Paramount's owner? The Mu family and Paramount were never on friendly terms. Why did Paramount's owner send such precious spirit herbs to the old master? Read more chapter on novel full Feng Lan, turned to Feng Ruching, slowly. When Feng Ruching noticed Feng Lan's presence, she had that feeling of uncertainty that made her feel uneasy, especially when Feng Lan mentioned Paramount's owner. Her head was going to explode from the sudden shock. Jiuming, how dare this bastard play a prank on her? Our owner is young Master Nanxian's fiancé, so it's only proper for Paramount to send a present to the old master for his birthday. If this incident had happened in the past, Mu Ling would definitely have been delighted and would even have forced Nanxian to marry Paramount's owner. However, too many things had happened on the same day in addition to Fengyun clan's presence at the beginning, so Mu Ling felt his heart skipped a beat after Feng Lan was done talking. He followed Feng Lan's gaze and saw the exquisite and attractive beauty. Me for extra chapters. His handsome face suddenly went pale. Mu Ling trembled and clenched his fists, helplessly. Feng Ruching. Why was it Feng Ruching again? She was Fengyun Manor's young lady, as well as Paramount's owner. How could he say something so foolish like demolishing Paramount? If he knew that Feng Ruching was Paramount's owner, he would not have had to try so hard to bring Paramount down. The divine physician belonged to Paramount. As a clan master, Feng Ruching could easily order a physician to treat people, which was an easy task for her. But must he look trouble with Feng Ruching in the first place? Mu Ling trembled even harder. To him, it was not a surprise, not even a little excitement. He would rather someone else be Paramount's owner instead of Feng Ruching. His relationship with her had turned sour, and they were in the worst situation now. The rest of the people noticed Feng Lan's glance as well, so everyone turned to Feng Ruching. Would you believe me if I say that I don't know her? Everyone was silent. Chapter 931. Everyone came to congratulate him. 8 Haha. You don't know her? If you do not know her, would she dare to claim that you're Paramount's owner? They had never seen someone who would insist on giving this honorable title to other people. Why would Feng Lan insist on forcing this title onto Feng Ruching but not someone else? Master, Feng Lan smiled genuinely and said, young Master Jiuming has mentioned before that Paramount was founded because of Empress Nalan. As her daughter, the position of Paramount's owner naturally belongs to you. When you claim that you do not know me, it really hurt my feelings. Have you forgotten about our memories together in the palace the other day? Nanxian's body emitted a faint vicious aura, and he seemed to have grown tense. A hint of coldness flashed in his eyes as he looked at Feng Lan expressionlessly. Feng Lan was not bothered by Nanxian's murderous stare. When she saw that Feng Ruching did not respond to her, she chuckled and continued, Master, you usually accept any beautiful woman who runs into your embrace. Why do you treat me coldly? Why? Don't you know the reason? Feng Ruching cursed, silently. She had helped Jiuming to prank her. She had not paid for that. Qinger, Nanxian circled Feng Ruching's waist with his arm and said, once we go back, you must change all of your female guards to men. Why? Because Nanxian hesitated but continued with a serious expression. Allowing them to stay by your side will affect their chances of getting married. Read more chapter on novel full Feng Ruching could somehow sense that the way Nanxian uttered his request was a bit awkward and timorous. However, Nanxian did not make it obvious and had managed to portray himself in a flawless manner. He still looked gorgeous and stunning as usual. Suyi could not refrain herself from clearing her throat. Nanxian could actually just go straight to the point, affecting the girl's chances of getting married? Although it was part of the truth, since when was Nanxian concerned about other people's marriage? It was actually due to the attention that Qinger was receiving from the women as they were too fond of her, and she had never rejected their kindness and love. That was why women were serious threats to him compared to men. Gui had managed to sneak in when those people arrived at the scene. Once the words reached her ears, she puffed up and exclaimed, I will go back and tell Xiaoyin that you want to chase us away from Xiaoqing so you can have her to yourself. Xiaoqing, please do not believe a single word from this vixen. He has done this on purpose. Me for extra chapters. Oh, Feng Ruching suddenly realized something and muttered, but the state preceptor must have his own reason. Otherwise, Why aren't Tang Zi and the other girls married yet? Gui's eyes widened in shock. How could Xiaoqing believe these ridiculous excuses from Nanxian's mouth? Feng Ruqing frowned as she thought before muttering, "Wait until I am back. I will start with the iron-blooded troop to make sure my girls get married before they can return to my side." Contentment flashed through Nanxian's handsome face after hearing Feng Ruqing's words. The corners of his mouth curved up. He could not help but smile, and it was a genuine one. Nanxian was known as someone who hardly smiles. When Gui saw a gentle smile plastered at his face, she felt that he was provoking her. She cried out in frustration and hurried away into the dark of the night like a big, spoiled child. Feng Ruqing was surprised by her sudden tantrum as she turned to Nanxian with a confused look. "What's wrong with Yi?" Nanxian replied with expressionlessly, "Perhaps she has a stomachache." At this moment, Gu Shi felt sorry for his beloved daughter for the very first time. His daughter was such an innocent girl and was, undoubtedly incomparable to Nanxian, this cunning vamp. Why she not just get married to an ordinary guy? Must she fight with Nanxian over a woman? She would never win against Nanxian either in an argument or a fight. In fact, she was not a match when it came to Nanxian's manipulative skill. Why must she torture herself like that? Chapter 932. Everyone came to congratulate him. Nanxian. Mu Ling was pulled back to reality. Instead of putting on his usual deadpan face, the corners of his mouth twitched and lit up before he managed to utter in a calm voice, "Since you are back now, why don't you stay at the Mu family's?" Bang! The moment he stepped toward Nanxian suddenly raised his hand and gave him a blow straight to his chest. Mu Ling was pushed back by 2 steps as he was not expecting the assault. His face turned ghastly pale, and he was stunned for a few seconds before he managed to suppress his anger. It was he who had asked for a favor, so he must endure everything for now. "Father!" Mu Huan clenched her fists tightly. "Nanxian has just attacked you and Feng Ruqing has injured me. They must explain for themselves." "You shut up." Mu Ling frowned slightly, looking at her foolish antics. Since when has his daughter become like Mu, she who was not clever enough to observe the current situation? Not only was Feng Ruqing the house lady of Fengyun clan, but she was also Paramount's owner. Looking at the current situation, he could only depend on Feng Ruqing in order to treat his erectile dysfunction. Mu Huan's snow-white complexion face went red after being scolded in front of everyone. "Huaner." Chun Qingyan quickly pulled Mu Huan's hand and shook her head. "Your father has his own reason that he cannot speak about." Erectile dysfunction was indeed something that he could not speak about openly. However, they did consult Grandmaster Hairong before. They did not reveal the whole story but had told him that one of Mu Ling's brothers had been poisoned, so he had ended up with erectile dysfunction. Grandmaster Hairong had managed to identify the poison from the mouth. He had also mentioned that the only cure was the Golden Dragon's blood essence. However, the Golden Dragon's existence was just a myth, so Mu Ling had been targeting Paramount. Why must it happen to be Feng Ruqing? Why must Paramount's owner be her? Me for extra chapters. In the past, she had lost to Suyi. Then Mu she was literally pinned under her son. In the end, even her son-in-law could not match hers? Chun Qingyan's heart sank. A hint of coldness and cloud flashed in her eyes, but it disappeared without a trace as quickly as it appeared. "Xiener." Mu Ling spoke with a softer tone. "I am just trying to care more about you." "You?" "Excuse me." Feng Ruqing pursed her lips. "Our state preceptor is a cleanliness freak, so he doesn't like people close to him. It's best if you stay away from him. Of course, I won't let him kill you. I won't let him tarnish his reputation as well, but if you dare to get close to him, I will not hesitate to kill you." Without waiting for Mu Ling's response, Mu Shi emitted a faint vicious aura before cutting her off coldly. "What makes you think that you can kill my father?" Feng Ruqing laughed. "Feng Lan, bring out the spirit wine." Before she left, she had sent a batch of spirit wine to Paramount for sale. However, before the jars of spirit wine were available in the market, Paramount's elders had bought all of them. Once Feng Lan received Feng Ruqing's command, She had taken out a jar of spirit wine that was just sold by Feng Ruching a while ago without any hesitation and presented it to her with full respect. Wow! Once Feng Ruching opened the wine jar, a strong aroma of spirit wine filled the air, immediately catching everyone's attention, making them fixated on it. They started drooling over it. You can get this spirit wine from Paramount in an unlimited amount as you desire. Feng Ruching's lips curved upward. Let's say I want to demolish whole Mu family. I am not only willing to give this spirit wine to everyone who is present here, but I will also provide 10 drops of spirit water to all clans. How many of you are willing to do so? Chapter 933. Everyone came to congratulate him with the temptation of spirit wine and spirit water. Everyone was hyped up and their eyes fell upon Mu Ling's face. Even Qinli had forgotten the alliance and glanced at Mu Ling. I don't like drinking, but Gusher narrowed his eyes and smiled. Lady Xiaoqing, are you really willing to provide 10 drops of spirit water? Yes, for real. She could get any amount of spirit water as she desired, but naturally, she could not speak about it openly, so she was only willing to take out 10 drops. Nevertheless, 10 drops of spirit water were sufficient to help a strong man break through his cultivation level. Gusher stroked his chin and fell into deep thought. There were also many people from Dark Warrior tier in this manner right now. If one person took 1 drop each, they could create at least 10 more powerful men. Well, this spirit water was totally worth it. Lady Feng, I'm willing to carry out your command, but I wish to have 10 jars of spirit wine. 1 jar is definitely not enough for me. I'm willing to. However, Lady Feng, Mu Huan's master is Grandmaster Hairong. Therefore, the consequence of fighting against Master Hairong is quite disastrous. I need something better for my escape later. So would you give a few more drops of spirit water? Gu Shi took the lead in bargaining, making everyone present forget about their fears and reveal their inner thoughts. Some people had even taken this opportunity to start bargaining. Regardless of Feng Ruching's decision, this presented the Mu family with an answer. As long as Feng Ruching nodded, a lot of people were willing to kill for her. What about Grandmaster Hairong being strong? Read more chapter on novel full. It still had Gu Shi to shatter the enemy and break through the front line. Besides, Feng Ruching was Paramount's owner, and Paramount was supported by Deity's Gate. With the 2 great forces of Tianshen clan and Deity's Gate, would they lose to a single person, Hairong? Mu Ling's face darkened, and he seemed terrified. Then he chuckled curtly without smiling. Lady Feng, we did have some misunderstandings earlier. It was due to Han Feng's wrong information, which has caused so many misunderstandings between us. If he had known of Feng Ruching's real identity, he would not have objected to the marriage arrangement even if she had been married before. Both Gu Yi and Tang Yin had already broken off the engagement. There was only Qin Fei left. How could Qin Fei be compared to Feng Ruching? She could only be a concubine. The position of the first wife must belong to Feng Ruching. Misunderstanding? Suyi smirked and stood up. You sent someone to poison Qinger just to make her infertile? And you put the blame on Nan Xian? Or did you mean to create a misunderstanding between both of them? Mu Ling's facial expression went stiff. He felt a little embarrassed as his bad deed was exposed to the public. Big brother. Mu Qingyin was shocked and her eyes widened. How could you even do such a thing? Me for extra chapters. He had asked someone to poison the poor girl just because he did not agree with Nan Xian marrying Feng Ruching, intending to cause her to be infertile? Old Mu Ling was just an idiot in the past. Since when had he become such a wicked and cunning person? Haha. Gu Shi sneered. I am really watching a good show today. You have poisoned somebody, but you are claiming it to be just a misunderstanding? Young man or master, you are so cruel. At this moment, Mu Ling was hoping, desperately, to find a hole to hide. However, there was no trace of guilt on his face, only embarrassment. He did not regret what he had done. He only regretted not being careful enough in hiding it from being exposed to the public. Sister Sui. Chun Qingyin came forward with a light smile. Perhaps you have misunderstood. I trust in Brother Ling's character. He will not do this kind of thing. Moreover, today is the old master's birthday celebration. Sister Suyi, Why would you ruin my father's birthday party? Mu Ling's eyes fell upon Chen Qingjian's face as his thin lips pouted ever so slightly. He had not revealed his plan to poison Feng Ruching to Qingyan, yet Qingyan completely trusted him. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.